You can't run, but you can't hide. Yes, the chameleon has once said that it would never change its forefathers' way of movement just because the bush is on fire. Yes, the FBI, because they were compromised a bit and couldn't or actually agreed not to release the criminal records of Bola Tinubu, despite that, have finally released something. And in this little one they have received, or in this little portion they have released, I beg your pardon, they have there are names of Bola Tinubu in it, although his name was removed in lots of places. But that doesn't mean that the FBI refused to release his records. They released records today, and these records are having touches of Bola Tinubu's crime records in it. I wonder if they had released the 2,500 pages as earlier promised. Oh, Bola Tinubu will have been something else today. Thanks for joining us. My name is Angelo. This is Nation's Voice Tower. Now, I want to go straight to the point. I told you earlier that the FBI have released Bola Tinubu's criminal records as Bayo Onanuga, the special assistant to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, plays major role for silence amongst all parts of the mainstream media. Yes, Bayo Onanuga has been saddled with the responsibility by the president to silence all the mainstream and conventional media about his FBI records that were released recently. All right, let's delve into the matter. I have documents. The FBI have finally released these documents, and we have a grip on them. Although they didn't release all of them because of the promise they once made, and because of the court order that stopped the FBI and other drug-related agencies from releasing Bola Tinubu's records. But here are they. The FBI have begun to release the criminal files of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Expectedly, the Nigerian mainstream media is quiet about it. They have not made moves to touch it whatsoever. This is simply because Bayo Onanuga, who is a special assistant to the president, has been, going around to various media houses, sharing millions in brown envelopes, according to our sources, to keep journalists playing ball, not to release, or to keep journalists from talking about the records or the criminal records of Bola Tinubu by the FBI. Few days ago, Bayo Onanuga had written his usual epistle attempting to celebrate the sudden court order made by the FBI not to release any file containing Bola Tinubu's name or linking him to drug crimes in the United States. Unfortunately, that was not the case. The files indicated Bola Tinubu and so on as members of a drug cartel who operated in Chicago. Lee Andrew Edwards, Adeboyega Akonde, Abiodun Agbele, and Bola Tinubu were all investigated and indicted by one agent, Kevin Moss, for drug deals in Chicago and Gary, Indiana. These are documented facts, and they are available right now as released by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI. The few files that have been released so far from the painstaking work done by Mr. Aaron Greenspan of Plain Sight and our own David Hudain should have triggered curiosity, more digging, and front page reporting by the mainstream media. But unfortunately, none has done it as long as Bola Tinubu's brown envelopes continue to flow. Nigeria can be ruled by just anybody who has the money, according to what we're seeing right now. A serious country with a vibrant media space should be alarmed that the released FBI files have clearly showed that the man in Aso Rock, parading himself as president, was indeed a member of a drug cartel in Chicago back in the US. This is a major dent on the nation and her citizens. That our country, unfortunately, has become so lazy that our leadership selection process lacks integrity, diligence, and credibility. This goes further to expose the deep rot in our morals as a people, because we need to really fix this. If we don't fix this with immediate effect, we wouldn't be able to have a grip on what we are supposed to do in the near future, not just for us, but for our children inclusive. How did Bola Tinubu pass with all the baggage around him as someone who was indicted in the US, as someone who has criminal records, as someone who forged a certificate, as somebody who actually stole allegedly someone's identity. All right. Well, it must have been thoroughly checked, but waived by the wave of hand by the security operatives and the agencies involved in this. Even INEC should be called out for this particular heinous crime that they have perpetrated this year, 2023. We can forgive all those who actually looked over the criminal records and other files of Bola Tinubu, but not the INEC. The first document on your screen is related to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and he has his name in this particular document. Of course, it was said in this particular document his involvement with Lee Edwards and the other drug trafficking cartel. All right, according to what was here, it reached that it is believed that Lee Edwards earns $15,000 and $20,000 each day through his operation. Edward owns numerous residence and commercial properties which he utilizes in his drug distribution operation. Yes, and it went further to say that Edward's source of supply of white heroin is a Nigerian drug trafficking group, possibly headed by the subject of the matter, who is Adeboyega Akonde, who is based in Chicago. And Adeboyega Akonde notably was linked to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That is one document. This second document, as you can see, is another one that is so long I can't just read it out for you, but it has Bola Tinubu's name as member of a drug cartel, and I'll read the part that has his name. He says he further admitted that Bola Tinubu had associated with Akonde and Agbele in the United States as well as in Nigeria. Again, during this conversation, he denied the existence of any other bank accounts in the United States apart from the ones that had Bola Tinubu operate them in Citibank, to be precise. I brought you those updates sometimes back. Another document is having Bola Tinubu's name too, because the main reason for bringing out these documents are bring out the documents or reveal the documents that are associated with drug trafficking or narcotic trafficking that have the name Bola A. Tinubu in them. And this is another one. Yes, this is another one too, that has Bola Tinubu's name and his involvement in drug trafficking. Now, let me read from where his name was identified. Now, according to what we have here, on January 13th, 1992, according to who was telling the story, I spoke to an individual who identified himself as Bola Tinubu at a telephone number in Nigeria that he provided to the employees of the bank. According to what we have here, Bola Tinubu operated a bank account in Citibank International and approximately had $550,000, which was later seized from this account held by Citibank International in the name of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That is that. Next is the final part of the document signed by Agent Kevin Moss, special agent from the Internal Revenue Service, who was responsible for the arrest of Bola Tinubu, Muiz Akonde Adeboyega, and the other members of the drug cartel. All right, and this particular document too closes the rest of the documents I have been showing you for the past couple of seconds ago. All right, now this one is titled Subjections of Title 5 in the United States Code, Section 552. And it also has another heading that says Subjections of Title 5 of the United States Code, Section 552A. And this particular document also has the name of Bola Tinubu in it. Yes, there is another one that is like a letter-headed paper that was addressed to Mr. Aaron Greenspan, all right? And after everything, there was still Bola Tinubu's name mentioned in these documents. Finally, this document on your screen is a memorandum that was sent to the Indian police, or let me call it, as it said here, Indiana Police. And I think Indiana Police is a code name for an associate of Bola Tinubu. I beg your pardon, forgive me. And then the subject of this particular document says authorization to open and assign the below listed case. Yes, and it was assigned and given the title as one Lee Andrew Edwards, also known as Lee A. Andrews or Lee Edwards, and one Mr. Adeboyega Akonde. These names were found in this particular document, and these people were linked to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. That means he could not run. He could run fast, but he could not run very, very fast. So the FBI didn't change their forefathers' way of working because the bush is on fire. Rather, they changed the style of locomotion, and they finally walked the way they used to walk because the bush was still on fire. How? They promised not to really release the records as the court order stated, but because of the FOI, don't forget, the white folks would never go back on their constitution or on their policies. They did not just release the whole part of the document, but they released a part of it. This could also go far to indict Bola Tinubu, but it's so unfortunate that he has shared his brown envelope around and nothing can be done about it. But we will still keep our fingers crossed to see positive occurrences unfold as regards this particular drug related documents that have been revealed and released with Bola Tinubu's name in them. Secondly, Natasha Akpoti-Oduaghan has expressed her own feelings over, or her own reaction over her victory at the Court of Appeal that returned her as elected senator for Kogi Central. But in revealing this, she exposed Governor Yaya Bello. Do you know what he did? Governor Yaya Bello of Kogi State, according to Natasha Akpoti, who was returned elected by the appeal court, she actually exposed the governor, saying that the governor allegedly offered her 50 to 70 million naira for her to back off from the senatorial race. These are good Nigerians, but you know what? She declined. These are well-meaning Nigerians. Please, let us hear from the horse's mouth, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduaghan.
You see, people are born differently. Isn't it odd that a state governor would issue a statement that he accepts the judgment? He wasn't on the ballot, but he went all out, owning this, the last election, as if it were Yahaya Bello against Natasha at the last election. You see, like I said, people are made differently because while some sit down and allow things to take a natural course, some want to become godfathers at all costs. Yahaya Bello falls into the latter category. He has a personality which I would say is, with all due respect, deluded, and it makes him want to lord over things and dictate the terms, almost act like a mini god on earth. And that is not how life happens. And I would say this, while in 2018, before I joined the SDP and contested for the senatorial seat, I was in APC for pretty much 3 months. And I will say this, the governor called on me, just like he called on 9 other aspirants at that point, and telling each and every one to step down. To some people, he offered money. He offered me money as well. He offered me 50 million at first. I turned down. He said, how about 70 million so you will step down for my anointed candidate, who was the then senatorial candidate, who was the then senator, and that I rejected him, and I told him I wasn't in the race for money. It wasn't a personal aggrandizement, but it was to create an impact and help my people. And that annoyed him, so I moved into SDP and I contested that election. So the same thing happened now. Yahaya Bello does not like being dared. He wants his words to be law. He doesn't understand that he's a governor to everybody, and his duties as stipulated by the Constitution makes him responsible to me. But he went all out, cutting the roads a few days to elections, sending people to attack and shoot at my convoy, all of that. And then he was, at the very last day in Ajakuta there, when they were collating, he was with his men, calling on them and commanding on them to rig me off. So when you ask me why he went overboard this way, I would just say it is who he is. It is who he is. When a person is vindictive and dictatorial in nature, that is just who he is. And I think it's really wrong. But on the other hand, we would say succeeded in
Natasha, sorry, well, I think we're almost
activities because of the institution.
we're out of time.
Let me say this. It's very important I say this.
Right. Go ahead.
Yahaya Bello succeeded because we also had weak institutions. I mean, we had the returning officer who saw that the figures did not add up, but he went ahead and pronounced the APC candidate the winner. Why did he do that? I don't know. But you know what? As a political reformer, I am looking forward to INEC prosecuting all the erring electoral officers so that when these men are jailed and made to serve a term, they will serve as an example to other people who would sell their conscience.
All right, welcome back. That was Natasha Akoti there exposing Yahaya Bello. We all know what Yahaya Bello has been up to, and we all know what he has been doing in the let me not say in the US. I have been used to Bola Tinubu's case, so that I don't mind me. I'm sorry about that. But we all know what Yahaya Bello has been doing in Kogi State. All right. So we would not act as if we don't know. Why will you send people to shoot at your political opponents and nothing? That's what surprises me. Nothing has been done about this. Well, I hope those involved are watching, and those that are supposed to get into this case are watching. Maybe when he leaves office, then he will know what, or he will be told what to do. Very soon, he will leave office. Yes, and finally, the good people of Rivers State have reacted to the Wike and Siminalayi Fubara controversy. And this street reaction will blow your mind. In fact, I can say from this street reaction that nobody likes Nyesom Wike. Please, stay tuned.
It's a show of shame that this kind of thing should happen here now. They should allow the man to exercise his authority. They elected him as a governor. They should allow him to exercise his authority as a governor. This call now is unwarranted. They should allow the man to exercise his authority.
We are not surprised at the turn of events because the APC in Rivers has clearly stated that this was purely a third-time agenda, and that the PDP and its candidate, who happens to be the sitting governor, did not have a blueprint for the development of the state. And so we are not surprised at all. It is only about the timing that we're being surprised about.
Maybe should allow the Rivers people to breathe fresh air and concentrate on the FCT position he's holding. Right now, as we speak today, I have dislocation because my leadership, under my leadership, the South Youth Initiative, we decided today to pay our support to this, the governor of Rivers State, Ismail Fubara. We don't work with him. We have never been part of him. We have never been part of his government. But we are not happy about the situation that is passing.
Okay, those were the people of Rivers State there, bringing their grievances, you know, to the mainstream media to say what they feel about the controversy between their former governor and the present sitting governor. This is sad. I will bring you Wike's reaction in my next update. See you next time. I hope that you will always always remember to like our videos, share them. Don't forget to drop a comment for us in the comment section. Please don't forget to watch till the end and tap the subscribe button as well as the notification bell. You know why you will do that. Bye.